Please, the show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Am I muted? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was muted. Good evening, people, wherever you are in the world. Sorry for the technical delays. We're having interview problems. But what I would say is good evening, dobro večer, god kväll, guten Abend, buenas noches, namaste, konnichiwa, ganki des, ni hao ma, and Mas al khair, wherever you are in the world, fellow Reds. It is Mick Ruby here from Mufc Realist Tv, and I'm sorry we have some technical issues as usual. But you know what? It's been 18 games since we played Manchester City in the last derby at Etihad. And guess what? Out of those 18 games, we only lost one. You know, Erik ten Hag is cooking a 5-course meal, and your global fan base, has been providing the ingredients. What has changed? You know what? We are going places, and we are all invited for the dinner party. I feel in the back room, I have my chefs that is been contributing to been cooking up the ingredients. Let me introduce you to Nick. No, Nick is not there. Phil, how you doing, Phil? Master Chef Phil. Oh, so muted. I can't hear you, Phil. What a disaster. Can everyone hear me? You unmute yourself then. Oh, yeah, I can't hear Phil anyway. Anyway, this is crazy. Sorry. Oh, my God. All right. I go to Dan. Master Chef Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, pal.
Ground control. Nicola Bruce is frozen. We're having some serious injuries, people. We're having some injuries. How you doing, Dan? What you been cooking up? What you reckon? What's going on? Will it be a blue moon or will it be a red moon on Saturday?
It's going to be a red moon, pal. Of course it is. It's I'm very confident with this derby on Saturday.
Hmm.
So Manchester's going to be red. Erling Haaland is going to be non-existent because if you stop Haaland, you stop Manchester City, and the way you stop Haaland is by stopping City's creativity.
Hmm.
Southampton showed exactly the way to beat City on last night, and people might say that City's B team, the first team, won't fall for them traps, but these all still play the same style. It's just they're better players.
100%. So, listen, we are playing with fragrances in terms of the ingredients. It's been blue moon for a very long time, but I think we are heading towards the red. And I'm looking backstage, and it's a sad fair affairs. Like, you know, the chefs has done the 5-course meal. They've gone out for a cigarette break. I don't know what's going on. It's quite sad backstage, but let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Are you ready? Are you ready for the preview? Here we go.
Oh, we're not live.
What? Sorry?
Are we not live?
Are we live?
Of
Yes,
course
we
we're
are.
live.
We are live. Yes, we are live. Let's go.
Good morning, good afternoon, bada bing, bush, bush, bush. It's Monday. I think we will slap you 3-1. Feel like, are you feeling more confident?
Slightly more confident. No offense, no. But, yeah, because the beat these guys.
It's an hour for the brilliant.
Jaden's the line. What a clearance. He's had a check. Goal.
Hello to my little friend.
Manchester will be red. Guys, Phil Standish. I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear you. No. Dan?
Yes, I can hear you, pal.
Oh God, we have to improvise here. We have too many injured chefs. Listen, we talked earlier about the run on form that we are right now, and we touched base on, about Manchester City and their current form at the moment. It's not the same City that we've seen ever since they brought in Haaland, right? Erling Haaland, what we call him, the Viking. Of course, they changed the playing style and to accommodate Haaland. But have they lost something on the road? I mean, have they lost their magic juju? What do you reckon?
Is this for me or Phil?
For you.
I feel like that City don't look as strong as what they have done over previous years. And you could say that's down to Pep Guardiola changing City's system. You could say that's down to the losing the players like Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, and Sterling. The excuses are endless, but we're not Jurgen Klopp here. We don't make excuses. We're realists. So, for me, I believe that not Ten Hag. I wish it was. That Pep Guardiola has changed his system to suit Haaland, and that's what you do when you bring in a world-class striker. You base your squad around that player. And for me, I feel like that certain City players are adapting to this new system, and it's taking its toll on them. I mean, the likes of like Jack Grealish, for example, he's still not found his form for City. He's getting a few assists,
What a flop!
but he's a bigger flop than Darwin Núñez.
Two left foot Nunes, yeah.
Literally. So I would also consider that their defence looks weak without Ruben Diaz. And Ruben Diaz reminds me a lot of Rafael Varane in a way, the big, strong captain or the big leader who takes the defence by storm and he controls that back line. And obviously he's currently injured. And the likes of Akanji, who came in the summer to City. You've got the likes of Nathan Ake, who's always been a bang average centre-back. And then you've got Laporte and John Stones. John Stones is the only good centre-back that City have played this season because Diaz, before he got injured, wasn't playing that well either.
Yeah, Nick, can you hear me? Ground control to Nick.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear me, right? So, Nick, you've been a match-going fan for quite a while. I mean, did you go to the last derby as well, like at the City ground? So, do you concur what Dan is saying? Is Pep more fearing us now than when we went to actually Etihad? What do you reckon? What's your thought process regarding that?
I think he is. I think he's being shown up a little bit now. I agree with what Dan said about him changing his tactics now he's got Haaland in. I think we've always got to worry about City. I think Manchester's always red. I would never say that Manchester's blue even when City win, because I don't believe that for a second. But I think what we've got to understand is that City have a lot of players. They've got depth of squad. They can interchange their players and they will work so well together, even if they've not played together for a while. And that's what Pep's really, really good at. But what I will say is that Ten Hag has really come in and he's solidified our squad. So we've changed it up a little bit with some of the youth players coming in, and we've done really well with them. So I don't think it's going to be an easy game, but I do think that Pep's running a little bit scared. It's kind of a little bit like the Battle of the Baldies, if you ask me. I think that Pep's going to be slightly worried about our form. I mean, what the last 18 games I think we've lost one, and then we've won all the others. We haven't lost a game since we've come back from the World Cup. Yes, the last 6 head-to-heads with City, we've lost 4, drawn 1 and won 1. But I think the tide's turning a little bit. I think that Rashford's on fire. I think Garnacho's on fire. Bruno plays really, really well in that attacking midfield position. So I'm not too concerned, but I don't think it's going to be easy. Our home form is brilliant. So I'm not got, 9 consecutive wins at home. 7 of those were clean sheets. I don't think it's going to be a clean sheet, though, I have to say. But I do think that we might just pick them to the post, because something's gone wrong with Pep at the moment. I mean, the defeat against the Saints was it was shocking. It was baffling, actually, and the tactics were all wrong. They didn't have a single shot on target from watching it. So I don't know. I think he is running a little bit scared. I think he's seen that United's form has improved. We're level on points with Newcastle. We're in a very real situation where we could actually be challenging for the title. And I don't want to say it because it's a bit too exciting and worrying at the same time. But I think we've got a really, really, really good shot, especially that we're at home. Shall I say ta-da?
I'll just answer your question. Yeah, Nicole, I honestly think that you're spot on that Pep Guardiola should fear Manchester United in this derby. And I feel like that Gundogan last night in that Southampton press conference showed it all. He had a nervous laugh when talking about Manchester United, and that's either a show of arrogance or he is nervous. So for me, I feel like that these City players either have too big of an ego and think that they can just beat United with blindfolded, or they're actually starting to fear us. And Pep Guardiola has said himself that Arsenal and United could win the league this year if they tried hard enough and got the right recruitment and stuff. But obviously, it's obvious that Pep Guardiola and City are going to back themselves. But for me, we're Manchester United fans, so we need to stop talking about Manchester City right now and talk about why United are in such good form and what's actually turned around since the last derby. So, Nicole, because obviously you're a match-going fan, do you see things differently to what we actually see on the TV? Because I feel like when I go to match games, I notice things differently than I do to when I watch it on the TV.
Yeah, you do, because you've not got, the cameras can zoom in and they do replays and you don't get any of that. Obviously, we've got no screens at Old Trafford because it's falling apart. So you do view things differently, and sometimes I'll come home and I'll have a chat with people. I'm like, oh, did you see that? And then they'll say, oh no, but if you watch the replay, you'll see it. So I think it's really, really difficult when you're at the match.
A lot of feedback.
Is it me?
I think it's Mick.
You have to mute everybody while I'm talking because it'll just echo all the way through. Sorry.
All right, mate.
Keep going, Nick. You're doing great. Just keep talking, giving
Just
what you
keep
say.
talking.
So
Yeah.
I can't hear Nick in the background. It's disaster at all.
Can you hear
It's
me
just
in the
a still
background?
picture, so sorry.
Am I just echoing? It's just my voice
We
echoes through everything.
can hear you now. It's fine. We can hear you.
Okay.
hear you the whole time.
It's really, really difficult to, when you're at the ground and you've totally been taken over by the atmosphere, and you pick up on things and people will shout and scream, they'll call the ref a wanker and all sorts like that. But actually, when you look back at it and you can be a little bit more reflective, you view it slightly differently when you see it on the screen. And sometimes I do have to watch it back if I've been at the game and then watch it when I get home, because I will see it differently. And like offsides and things like that, it's really, really difficult, especially from, second tier, the Stretford end. You've got that view, but you don't kind of get to see the offside bit. So it is difficult, but the atmosphere is just fantastic for the most part. So it's definitely worth going.
When you're ready, mate.
Okay, I can't hear anything in the background, but listen, What about you now, James? Good evening, sir. How are you?
Excuse me. What did you say?
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. Now, I like the way that Jeddah tried to work with Villa, but it's not defensive enough and we cannot win cups.
Hey.
How are we doing, Mickey? All right? How's everyone
Yeah,
doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm having a little bit technical issues. I can't hear Nick from the backstage, and if I turn on my YouTube on the phone, it creates echo. So bear with me.
Yeah.
So
I'll let you know when Nick stops talking.
that's okay.
I mean, it could be a while, but I'll let you know.
That's okay. So what's your take? What's your mood going into Saturday? What ingredients do you think Eric Ten Hag will bring to make the moon red? It's been blue far too long.
My take so far, Mick, is I want to know how many people have been reading my tweets because I've seen so many people now saying Battle of the Baldies, and that's what I tweeted this morning.
Did you?
So
I might have just seen it slightly. And
yeah,
that's why I was
maybe, yeah.
maybe.
And I want to know the affection Dan's got with his cat because he keeps touching it a lot. But other than that, mate.
I like your good evening.
I hope everyone else is good. I'm really confident, Mick, which is very strange because I'm looking forward to United games now, and it's not been a feel every time now for the last few years. It's been looking with it a dread and delusional hope. And now I'm looking at a Manchester derby and thinking, yeah, you know what, we can do something here. I don't agree with Nicola that Pep's like weirdly fell off a track and is worried and stuff like that. But I just think Ten Hag can do a job against him.
100%. I mean, he used to be the understudy.
I don't think they fell off. Yeah, no. I don't think City have fell off. I mean, they've had a couple of dodgy games. Last night, I did like jokingly tweet was that Pep's master plan of making radical changes for United by losing against Southampton just to lull us into a false sense of security. But it's very surprising that they didn't even get a shot on target, did they? But that's not City. That's not the City we know. I think they'll be back. It's just how we do it. Yeah, I just think for me we need
of the match.
For me, we need to go attacking from the start with our best team / normal team, what we go with.
Yeah.
Analyse it over the first 20 minutes. And if we need to bring Wan-Bissaka on because Delo's getting done, bring him on. If we need to bring a Fred or a McTominay on because we're getting done in midfield, bring a bit of physicality in, bring it on.
I think he thought about this ever since September. So he's approaching this game. Should I attack them? They're coming to Old Trafford, of course. Or should I sit back and hit him on the counter because the defense is dodgy? But I think for some reason, I mean, we will have probably Varane back. We will have probably the Butcher, you know who I'm talking about. And we probably have Delo. And we have an informed De Gea as well, together with Casemiro dictating, because Casemiro was not involved against the City game at all, as he was just getting bled into the team. So we are a total different outlet to when we played Etihad. So I think Pep, considering what they lost against Southampton the other day, I think he's worried actually. So you know what? I'm not worried at all. Like, I'm excited about this game. This is the test. It's like, as I said in the intro, it's been 18 games since we played that game, and we lost only one. So that's impeccable form to my opinion. And we are in form, and we are advancing in the semi-finals in the Carabao Cup. We're going deep in the FA Cup. The confidence is there with the players, And I'm just going to go to the comments. Like, we have a Mike J going, Shawarma King sponsors this broadcast.
Yes, Mike.
Oh, Mikey, Shawarma Kings. Yes, if only.
He made you read that out as well.
Yeah. And another thing that we kept forgetting is Weghorst. Ayush Gill is saying Weghorst. No, it's not Weghorst. Sue is gone. It's going to be Hoot. Right? We're going to say.
I told you, mate. Mick, what I've been tweeting is Wick. It's the sound of set
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah. Louis, welcome to the stream. Yes, Dan, it's big up for you, Dan, as well. Yeah, 100%. Let's see, Ayush Gill saying, now suddenly United team looks fully jam-packed. 100% Ayush Gill. We look jam-packed. We look ready to challenge. And matter of fact, we are, 4 points behind City. Right now, we beat them on Saturday. We are only 1 point behind. And we're currently 9 points behind Arsenal. So anything can happen, Ayush. Anything can happen.
I can't wait for Phil's predicted 11 because I think we're going to disagree very much.
I don't know. Phil disappeared from the stage.
I'll do it if you need me to fill in, mate.
But it's what I'm always saying is the second the second round of the season is where things count. Like the bonus round and anything can happen. Injuries it plays a big part. And knock on wood, we haven't had any injuries so far.
Right.
To get Weghorst in, it's a big thing for me because he offers something different from the bench or as a starter as well. So that means we can rotate.
That's where I'm coming from, Mick. Because I think if I'm correct, I don't know about Nicola, but Phil does coaching, and I think Dan started coaching. I used to do that myself as well.
Coaching. I do no coaching.
Well, Phil's done it, so I can understand him getting the starting 11 predictions. Dan has started coaching. He loves his hat. And I've done it as well. So I have different tactical approaches to it than Phil might and Dan might, though.
Well, if your coaching was as good as your tweets, then I'm pretty sure you like Pep Guardiola.
I'll take that as a compliment, mate, considering Pep Guardiola's won a lot.
Yeah. We've seen it all. We won the lot. No, come on.
Hey, I've not given tactical analysis on Twitter, mate, because people will bite.
Yeah. Going back to Louis saying, City always, I can't read this. City always have
having mind games.
I think it was mind games from Gundogan as well. Yes, perhaps. Nick, are you?
Nick's there. You just can't hear her.
No, I cannot hear her.
All right.
She's not in the background. I just have to read lips here from my screen. But you're going to the match, right, on Saturday, correct?
I am not this time.
Pumped, super pumped. Huh?
I know, yeah. I'm not going. I've got other plans. I'm doing a bit of volunteering in the morning, and then my daughter's got acting lessons on a Saturday, and I've got loads of stuff that I need to sort out with my mum's house before I hand it back. So
funny enough, my lad's starting acting as well this Saturday.
Really? Where's he going?
In Bury, Gary Neville territory.
No, carry on.
So no, I'm not going. I'm disappointed that I'm not going, although the shit show that we had last season at home has made me quite happy that I might not be there to witness something. I think it's always really, really difficult because I'm a massive red. The rest of my family are Blues, so they I don't. Honestly, don't
what was that?
don't even get me started. So it really pains me when City do well because I always get messages. My brother lives in Chicago and he sends me messages. I mean, he picks up on the scores and he sends me messages like, "Oh, look at this." I'm like, "Fuck off, leave me alone." They're taking advantage of the fact that they're doing well. They've started to win stuff, but winning streaks only last so long, and I think now we've got a bit more consistency in our team. Our manager seems to know what he's doing. He seems to have a good ethos going on. He's got good tactics. He's got a vision, and the players are coming along for the ride rather than there's no toxicity. It feels like that's kind of been sorted, and he's taken a little bit of discipline back from.
Do you think, Nick? Do you think that the mentality of some of the players he's brought in has kind of instilled that into the team that's going on at the minute. Like the likes of Martinez, Casemiro, they're just going. Just
good point.
do what you
Good
need
question.
a bit of bite. You need to work for what you get.
Yeah,
Because they've had to do that generally from South America. They've come from slums. They've come from no money, poor family, looking for food.
Yeah.
They've had to fight, and they still continue that fight once they get into football.
I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that that's had a bit of an impact. Of course, you never know people's thought processes and stuff. I do feel that Rashford's improved significantly since he's kind of dropped the rest of the political stuff that he's been doing. And whilst I agree that it's been absolutely fantastic, he's a Manchester United player and he does need to focus on actually what he's paid for. And you can see that now with his celebration of being more focused. He understands that a little bit more now.
Did you pick that up as well on social media, Nick? That this was apparently meaning, look at me, I'm dumb, because people were saying that, but it's actually meaning I'm focused.
No, I didn't pick that up at all.
Yeah,
really? People saying that?
Yeah, a lot of people. No, not a lot of people weren't saying he's dumb, but a lot of people was interpreting it that he's saying, for all you social media fans, I'm dumb. Look at me, meh.
Yeah,
but it's actually about being focused, isn't it?
Yeah, and he looks more focused as well. I mean, the game where we won 3-0, I mean, he hadn't got a touch of the ball until he actually got it and scored, because I'd messaged in the group chat, like, has Rashford even touched the ball? And then he gets the ball.
I thought you could say you messaged him then.
I'm not on personal terms with him, not yet. So, you know, I do think that there's a bit of a mentality shift. I think Ronaldo going has really, really helped, if I'm being honest. I think that's changed it quite a bit. I think the Maguire situation, him being off form but always being picked, and now he's actually being dropped. I think the players are now starting to see that there are consequences to not performing and not having your head in the game, and that's the way it should be.
Totally agree.
You should only be getting game time if you're performing, or even if you're trying to perform, and you get, like Fred, for example, he's not the best on the ball, but do you know what? He gives 110% every time he plays, and he looks...
And energy and effort. He always quality can be questionable, but effort and energy is not questionable at all, is it?
Exactly. So I'd like to think that there's been a whole shift with all the players now, and they're starting to see that Ten Hag means business and he's not going anywhere. So you
make a good point, because he's made an example of Maguire by dropping him and actually keeping him dropped, where other managers have pretended to and brought him back in.
Yeah.
And then he's got rid of Ronaldo. He just said, no nonsense on your bike. And then Rashford woke up late, you're dropped, you're on the bench.
Exactly.
Unlucky, mate.
Exactly.
Don't turn up late. Simple as that. And he got a response from him, and that's what we need. We've like I said, he tries to play Pep style, but he's Sir Alex Ferguson man management style.
Yeah.
I think we've got a nice hybrid here, and unless we get new owners, we're going to throw him under the bus as well. So we need new owners in quick.
Yeah, we do. We need owners that understand they understand the club and they understand what it means, and they need to back the manager, because the manager will back the players if the players are performing and doing what they need to do. So we
just need someone to come in and get rid of players that our manager doesn't want, regardless of how much they are on an asset sheet.
Exactly. And I want to see some of those youth play. I mean, Palestre was just absolutely. He's done more in the time he was on than Alanga's done in 5 months. So let's see a little bit more.
I've seen this everywhere, yeah.
Let's see a little bit more of what he can do, because he looked dangerous. He was running at players. It was really nice to see that energy and enthusiasm.
Because people have been saying, suggesting that Alanga's going to stay because he's had first team experience. But like you said, Alanga's had this first team experience, but he's done nothing in the 5-6 appearances he's had.
No.
For me, he oversold himself confidence-wise and the fan base by being in a very, very poor team under Ranić that just couldn't be bothered to put any energy in. He had that energy. He had that willingness. But now that the team has stepped up in that sense, he now looks what he is, which is average and not quite ready for the first team yet.
No, he needs to go out on loan.
Give Palestre the chance.
Yeah.
He's had his chances. Send him on loan, let him develop, bring him back, give Palestre the chance. If he doesn't work out, send him on loan next season.
Yeah, exactly.
But hell, even Mike's gone. Mick, even.
Yeah, he's disappeared. He's had enough now. We're taking over. You take over. Take over, Niall.
Yeah, it's
I'll
all right. Right, I'll take over as a directive. Dan,
Piss
you need
off.
to sort your camera out, sort your head out, get your face in instead of this little badge on your hat. Yeah, move up a bit, shuffle up. There we go. We can see your face now. There we go. No. I don't know where the hell he's gone and why it's still live without him, but there he is.
You guys see me then?
No, you disappeared, mate.
Oh well, I wanted to do good evening as well. So if you can hear me, that's fine. I'm having some technical issues.
Yeah, well, don't do a good evening, mate. That's stepping on my toes, yeah.
Yeah, no. I think Phil Standish is also coming in for some reason. But you know what? I'm waiting for Phil too, so we can actually go ahead and do the overall predicted and starting
Well, we've
11.
been live for half an hour now, and it feels like we've not talked about anything.
True.
So let's actually
Yes,
talk
people
about
a bit
Let's
have.
talk then, shall we? You can all talk.
Let's talk about.
No, I'm with you, Nicola. Let's all shut up. Leave them to it. We've not talked about football, apparently. We've not talked about Rashford's improvement. We've not talked about what we should do with Alanga or Palestri, and what's going to happen with City. Don't talk about nothing, Dan.
Why are we talking about Alanga and Palestri when we've got City to handle? This is what I'm talking about.
If you want to handle them with both hands, mate, you go for it. But
go for it.
It's Mick's channel. I just wanted to say from.
Go for it. I have technical issues, Dan.
That's
yours.
fine, mate.
I can't hardly hear you.
So, Neil, I'll ask you the first question. Where do you see a weakness in City for the derby? Do you see any weakness at all, or do you think they're going to be very strong and impenetrable in their defence?
Defence, mate. You just answered your own question. Defence is where they're weak.
Okay, which player would you say? Which position?
Centre back.
But,
on their right side. So our left side where Rashford will be playing. I think with him there, and yeah, with him there, I think we'll be all right. We can get in between them two because that right back will be pushing up high, and their right centre back's a bit weak. So Rashford can exploit that.
I agree with you. Hopefully Kyle Walker plays at right centre back then, because after that performance last night, then
he did a Southgate, didn't he? And he tried to do an Eric Ten Hag by putting a wing back at centre back.
To be fair though, Neil, I do agree with you when you said the right side.
Who the fuck's Neil? Oh, go on, carry on.
Is it Neil or Niall? I don't.
Niall. It's there. It's written in front of you, mate.
Right. So Niall, with the right side of the defence, I agree with you with the right-sided centre back, but I think a stronger case is the right back because, as we've just confirmed, Kyle Walker isn't playing in City's current system, and Rico Lewis is. I don't think Rico Lewis is ready for this derby.
Well, Rico Lewis is actually a DM by trade, so he's not even actually a natural right back.
So, I mean, to be fair, when Reece James went on loan to Wigan, he was a DM for them, and then obviously when he came back to Chelsea, he was converted to a right back. So maybe that same progress is happening, and look how good Reece James is. He's on the fucking hospital bed, isn't he? So,
well, if you actually want my tactical analysis on it, mate, we need to just stop De Bruyne, basically. Don't let Rodri have a second on the ball. Just hunt him down once he's got that ball, and exploit that left-hand side. Well, their right-hand side, our left-hand side. Yeah, and I think we've got the game won.
I completely agree because the way City win games is through their high possession and their creativity. If you can keep that out of the game, because for me, I explained it on my channel. For me, I rate Haaland over Mbappe when it comes to finishing. I feel like if you give Haaland and Mbappe the same chances 10 times, Haaland scores probably 9 or all 10, and Mbappe will score about 6 or 7 of them. But the thing is, with Mbappe, he can create something out of nothing when Haaland needs that service. So if you start that service...
If you take it on average, they're both scoring 8 out of 10 on an average, aren't they, really?
Well, yeah, on average.
Depending on which way they get it.
just try to make a point that Haaland is more clinical with shooting, and Mbappe can create something out of nothing when Haaland needs the service.
See, I'm
Mike's
gonna disagree
sorry.
on that. I think
Mike's just saying definitely in their defence, and all the midfield looks shaky. Sorry, Nick, carry on.
Sorry, no, I think what Haaland's got going for him is his power and his speed. And I think if you take that out of it, when you've got somebody like Mbappe who is so creative and is able to make something out of nothing, then that's great. But I think Haaland needs more chances. I know statistically you might look at it, but I've watched Haaland the past 4 or 5 games that they've played in. He's not absolutely fantastic at finishing those chances. Half the time it's his power and his agility that he needs to be running onto that ball. I've seen him loads miss and fluff chances. One-on-one with the keeper, he's nowhere near as good as people rate him. And I'm telling you now, This is his first season in the Premier League. 1 or 2 seasons later, I think he's going to get found out, because actually all he offers is that power and speed, and he doesn't offer anything else for me. That's just my opinion.
Could he not argue, Nick, that yes, he's missing these chances, but he still scored 21 of them, and the next best is at 15 with Harry Kane. But
but how many chances does he need?
For me, Nunez, who's the flop, has the same positioning and awareness as Haaland does, but he just can't finish his dinner, whereas Haaland can.
No, I mean, I suppose. I just think that people are massively going over at what Haaland is, and I think he's going to get found out, because you can't keep that speed and power going season after season. With all the games that we're playing, he's come from a completely different league, and I do think that he's going to dip off, and actually he's going to end up with injuries. I really do feel that he's going to...
Well, put it this way, Nick, he won't be here for over 3 years anyway, because he's off to Madrid after City.
Nick, I see your point, but we are talking about right now, like, them injuries or his being found out hasn't happened yet. Haaland's still very scary as a striker. A lot of defenders fear him.
Because he's so tall. He's about fucking 10 foot tall.
Yeah.
Don't go that far. He might be to you.
Yeah, hey, don't be so cheeky, you. I'm waiting for that. I get what you're saying. I don't think we need to be as fearful of him. If we can stop that, if we can stop the ball getting to him, I don't think we need to fear him, because he doesn't create those chances for himself. He relies on other people. That's what I was talking
about, how Mbappe can create something out of nothing, and Haaland needs the service.
Yeah, so if we can stop that service in the midfield, I think that we don't need to worry about him. I think we need to worry more about De Bruyne.
That's what I mean. Exactly. If you stop De Bruyne, take out Rodri, attack our left-hand side, I think we're fine. I don't think we've got any problems.
What I do think is going to be a good battle is Antony and Cancelo. I think that's going to be a battle on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
I
think Cancelo wins that all day.
Yeah, I just feel like that Cancelo's going to be more dominant against Antony, but Antony's going to get a few chances where he gets that quick acceleration going, and then he'll beat him on a race or something.
Can I ask you what acceleration you've seen and what races you've seen Antony get involved in?
Well, I've saw him on the counter attack. I've seen him obviously
where he grabs to make sure that the ball's on the left side of his foot.
That's as he gets to more the corner flag.
He doesn't have pace for that, man. He's not doing it.
I'm talking about when he's hitting him on the break. Because for some reason I don't understand why we don't play Antony near the halfway line when we've got an opposition corner, because if we get the ball out to him, he's very quick. So I feel my only frustration with Antony is that he reminds me of Rashford from last season. He's a very one-trick pony. He likes the cutting on that left foot. He likes to do the crab abuse, as you just called it. Yeah. So Nicole said that she thinks eventually Haaland will get found out. I think Antony already has been found out. The defenders know that Antony stops, thinks, and tries to beat him with pace. But he's not physical enough. He doesn't push defenders off him, and I feel like Antony, the way he really benefits is through quick passing and in moving into them positions to get first time shots off, like he did with the goal against Charlton, where Fred passed in the ball, he took one touch,
But that's against a League One opposition. I mean, I'd agree with you what you're saying, but I don't agree with the fact that he tries to beat someone on pace. He just tries to beat someone with trickery, not pace.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phil, was that you, mate? Go on, Phil.
Hey!
You're
Can
in,
you hear
mate.
me?
You're
Is that the
in.
end of the show? I give up with a laptop. I've moved to my phone and a set of headphones. Sorry.
Yeah, always stick with the phone, Phil. It's always better, mate.
Should we go with the score prediction or the predicted lineup?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. We do apologize. We had some issues, and it is what it is. But we're here for football and fun. Let's go for the Phil's lineup, okay?
I can't see any screens anymore, so I'm on my phone now. So I've no.
Use this, Phil. You're noggin, mate. Remember what you said.
This is your
so I've got. Is it up now? Yeah. So I've got De Gea at the back. I've gone with the kind of standard what you'd expect, best 11. The only thing I did question, and I might get shot, and I know I'll get shot down for this, is whether to start Martinez or not. And the reason I say that is two reasons. His height against Haaland, and I know everyone's saying, "Oh yeah, whatever, he's done it before against him and stuff like that." And maybe, yeah, absolutely. And he's not the only player on the pitch. But also, when I watched him against Charlton, until the 75th minute, he was full of mistakes. He was passing short. He was missing his tackle. He just wasn't up to his normal game. So I'm not saying he won't be ready. If he's obviously Ten Hag's going to see whether he's ready for the game or not. But I have started with him because I just think you can't. If he's at his best, if he sorts himself out, you can't leave him out because of what he can bring to the game. But he was full of mistakes against Charlton, which
who would you have
surprised
instead,
me.
Phil? Who would you put in his place then? If
Do you know who I nearly put in, Nick? Because I did. This is why I ended up putting him in, because my alternative option was putting Shaw in, because of how well he's played recently, and putting Malacia at left back. Well, I didn't say that. I think he's done, isn't he? It's a shame for him, but I think he's done. I think he will start Martinez and Shaw. I think he obviously rested Shaw completely for the Charlton game. I think there was a few little tells in there of who he was resting, and I think he's planning to start Anthony as well, taking him off in the 60th minute, no injuries. Yeah. I think he's probably had enough of Elanga. He had that chance where he put the ball in the back of the net, offside, and really shouldn't have been from that one.
He was looking to his right as well, wasn't he, Phil? He was looking to his right.
I didn't see much from him at all. He had his great moments, last season before sort of thing. He was looking like, hey, we've got a good player here.
Well, we spoke about that while you was like kind of offline.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I think basically
he looked better in a worse team, and now that
I think he needs to go out on loan.
Normal.
He needs to go out on loan and come back fresh. Do what Ahmad's done. Go out, get your football up to scratch, and come back and give us your best sort of thing. Anyway, back to the lineup. So I've got Martinez and Varane, and then I've gone with Dalot at right back because of what Ten Hag said. I know he said he took him off precautionary, but if you listen to the phrase, I took him off precautionary because we've got a big game on Saturday.
Yeah.
So he almost said, I'm not taking any risk. I want him in my starting lineup. So basically, if he is ready, I think he's going to start him. The obvious Eriksen and Casemiro, you just cannot leave them out. They're like Rolls Royces the minute they enter the pitch. The range of passing that they were doing. I know it was against Charlton. It doesn't matter. You've got to be able to play that pass. It doesn't matter who you're playing it against.
I disagree against City, but I do agree with the lineup so far, as in we can then change that if it doesn't go right.
No, sorry, what I mean is that pass can happen from against anybody. It's nothing to do with like skills or running around players.
Physicality-wise, that's all I'm talking about.
Yeah. And then on the left, Rashford, because he's playing his best on his left. I know he got 2 goals against Charlton, but when you look at those goals, he well played, he took them. But I think a better team probably would have defended those better. I think he's better cutting in from the left and making the difference and making the defence sort of panic. I think he's going to rest Garnacho bring him on if he needs to later on in the game. Obviously, if Martial's fit, and then Anthony on the right.
I mean, let's face it, Phil. Every time Rashford has been starting as the number 9, he's got all his goals once he's been shifted back to the left.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he needs to start. So he needs to start on the left, unless Erik Ten Hag is going to go with the tactic he did against Arsenal, which was play Rashford as the number 9, not get any opportunity for 60 minutes, and then move him to the left and look to counter on that diagonal run that he can do from the left. So unless he's doing a tactical thing like that, he needs to start on the left. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, this is the strongest starting 11 so far. Dan, do you agree with this lineup, or do you have something else in mind?
I wouldn't play Weghorst, that's for sure. I would say I would play Martial.
And put in Weghorst at in the second half.
I would only say that is because Ten Hag seems very fond of Anthony Martial. And the way I look at Martial this season is that he reminds me of Bobby Firmino during that Liverpool system with Sadio Mane and Salah, where he's the guy who's like a pawn for the defenders on a chessboard. Yeah. And your Anthony's and Rashford's are you can say bishops, your king, queen, whatever you want to call it. They're the more important pieces. And I would say that the way that Martial draws out defenders to allow Rashford to get in behind them lines of the defence is why Rashford's so clinical at the moment. So that would be my own way change to Phil. I would think that Martinez and Shaw will start. I would prefer to see Luke Shaw play at centre back, to be honest, and play Malacia for pace. But I honestly feel like with this game is going to be full of passion, aggression. Martinez suits this game perfectly. Birthday, so Old Trafford can give him a beautiful welcome on Saturday for his birthday. So yeah, I would honestly, that would be the only change I'd make. I just wouldn't start Weghorst. And if Weghorst is ready for Saturday and United are a goal down, then that's when the 6'6" goal machine, well not goal machine, but the 6'6" giant can show United what Ten Hag admires about him.
To be fair, mate, you laugh at goal machine. He's got 1 goal in every 2 games everywhere he's been other than Burnley. So
James Mahoney saying that Weghorst to score the winner. What do you reckon, Dan? What do you reckon, Nick?
I mean, I might put a B Sky bet on for that, maybe.
Anyway, it's interesting to see that somebody commented and said you're going to blow up. I assume that's while you're live. So go on.
Go on.
Nah, but no, I agree with you with in regard to Weghorst, mate, Dan, because for me, I think we need to start most attacking, the first team that we usually use. Look at the first 20 minutes. If Dalot's getting rinsed by Grealish and getting a yellow card in the first 5 minutes like the last fucking game, haul him off, get Wan-Bissaka on. If we're losing out in the midfield battle, get rid of Eriksen, as in not off the pitch, but move him up the pitch. Get a Fred or McTominay on, get a bit of physicality in there. Move Eriksen to the let me finish. Move Eriksen to the 10. Anthony's probably not going to do anything against City, if we're all honest, because he can't beat a man. So then move Bruno to the right with Eriksen in the 10. Bruno and Eriksen together there can unlock that City defence. If we're still struggling, get Weghorst up at the top. Last 15 minutes, get that winner.
I see your point. I mean, would you say as Bruno's a right winger, would you have 2 10s as in Eriksen and Bruno?
Potentially, yeah, because I don't like Bruno on the right wing. I don't like it.
So you think
I'm not a fan of it, but I would do it over Anthony because he's more likely to unlock the City defence from the right wing, being right-footed, with the Hollywood passes and all that crap.
We don't know.
Anthony's going to.
I see your point. I feel
just as an option.
I would also not start Eriksen because obviously I can't see Phil's team predicted lineup. I would honestly play Fred, and that you might be shocked at that, but Fred's recent cameos coming off the bench have been very well. And
I don't think he deserves to stay for another 3 years by his performances, but I think he's done enough to do something.
I feel like Fred as well is that game he had against Spurs before the World Cup That was one of Fred's best games in a Man United shirt, and I
100%.
feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that now Casemiro, because don't forget as well, the reason why United fans are obsessed with Casemiro is that for the last 2 to 3 years we've had Matic and McTominay, or Fred and Matic, or McTominay and Fred, or McFred as we call them.
Well, we've been screaming out for a DM for 4 years, haven't we?
Exactly. We've had for so long. We've had 2 players doing a 1 player's job, and that's why we've always lost that midfield battle.
Yep.
And Casemiro, who's also world class as it is, like even if we got an average defensive mid, it still would be like completely miles different to what we've been seeing.
100%.
And it allows players like Fred, McTominay, Eriksen to go more forward and create more, which is what we like to see. And what I also adore about Casemiro is that I love the way he drops between the defenders to make a back three to allow players like Shaw and Wan-Bissaka or Dalot, whoever's on the full-backs, to then go forward, which it's just...
And while allowing the wing-backs to go forward, it's allowing the 2 centre mids to go forward.
Can I ask Nick, do you reckon Casemiro, I call him Casemiro, will play a big part in this defence? I mean, in this defence and midfield. Comparing that from the last game that we missed and we didn't have him, do you think that we have enough to combat their midfield and actually being more dominant over them?
I definitely think so. I think that since we've changed that midfield and we've kind of got rid of Fred and we've got Casemiro and Eriksen in, it's been much more solid. We've been able to change, we've been able to take Eriksen out and bring Fred on. Not as keen on McTominay coming on, I have to say. I've been a big fan of his, but recently...
His poor last game, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I would, if I was going to switch it up, I'd have Fred in there as well. But I mean, you can't leave Casemiro out of a team when you're playing City, because he's our best midfielder by far. Teams up really nicely with Eriksen, he teams up really nicely with Fred as well, and he offers something to allow those players to go a little bit more forward. He's what we've wanted for years and years and years, and we've finally got it. Okay, I'd have preferred somebody perhaps maybe younger, so we've got a bit more longevity in him, but he's doing the business, so we've got to play our strongest 11, so he's got to be in the squad. He's got to be in that midfield, because without him, we won't win midfield.
Yeah, that's why he rested him, wasn't it? Yeah, he's absolutely starting him.
Yeah.
See, Cedric, come está mi amigo? Looking good tonight, family. Nice to see the she-devil lady on the panel. Yeah, there was supposed to be more than just Nicola, mate, but, shit happens.
Callula couldn't make it. She was supposed to be on, but unfortunately, the internet went down and,
Yeah, Virgin Media, mate. It's standard over in England, trust me.
But in overall team...
But the broadband providers are available.
We're not going to mention which supplier it is, right? So we're going to get banned with the algorithm. But listen, at the end of the day, we never get the lineup right. I kind of, when I spoke to Phil, I said, yeah, this is the strongest 11, but I kind of agree that Fred brings in another energy into the system as well, playing alongside with Casemiro. He's very good on the press. He's very good on destroying. Yeah, I can see that happening, but I would stick with this first starting 11, to be honest. And there will be probably a lot of interchanging from the bench. Hopefully we see Weghorst coming in 65-70 to get some minutes, but definitely this is going to be toe-to-toe football, and I'm really excited. It's going to be
like I said, Mick, I agree with Phil on it. For once, I agree with Phil's lineup because I think we need to go strong and attacking like we normally would, and then just analyse it, see what you need to change. Agree. We need to go defensive, go for it. Yeah,
we all agree. Dan, you agree?
I'm with it.
We're good.
I would honestly say
me and Phil are like that.
Come on, Nick.
I wouldn't go all out attacking in the first half. I honestly wouldn't. I would let City try and press us and then try and hit them on the break. I wouldn't try and let them hit us on the break, because with their clinical possession, with their clinical passing and their very skillful players, I feel like that if United take the game to City, then we will get punished for it
But only for a bit, Dan. That's all I'm suggesting. Only for a bit to realise it's not going to work and then change it up. But
So why would you waste all that
because what if it does work?
energy if it wasn't going to work? Why would you
No,
not
but what if it
conserve
does
your
work?
energy?
No.
But that's really negative, isn't it? It's too defensive. You can't turn up with that's going back to like Mourinho and playing too cautious. That's the word. Too cautiously. We're in this. We're right at the top of the league. The best we've been. We're in the best form we've been in years. If we turn up and start parking the bus, I'll be devastated.
Yeah.
We've got. I'm not saying we go toe for toe, slog it out, and end up with a 4-all. But what I'm saying is, I think we can't just sit back because if they do come out racing out the traps, absolutely hurting from the game last night, you're going to see I think you'll probably see Mahrez because he's on top form at the moment. You've got De Bruyne,
I think Grealish will start as well.
Haaland. You probably will see Grealish because he always does something against us. But saying that, I mean, Foden didn't do nothing the other night. He's hardly played this season.
But if you remember, Phil, last game, Grealish got that yellow card out of Delo in the first 5 minutes. Yeah, so this is what I mean. I think you should start positive, and if Delo's getting constantly rinsed or gets on a early yellow, haul him off, get Wan-Bissaka on for that defensive side to deal with.
You won't do that though, will you? You don't change a defender in the middle of a. Usually your defensive line gets changed sort of 60th minute, not often. No,
I think it would. I think it would.
Okay, well, guys, timeout. I'm calling timeout. I agree with what everyone is saying. I agree with what Dan was saying because this is exactly what happened when we played in Etihad. They hit us on the counter with Haaland, with what's his face, Foden. They were very clinical, right? And we don't want that. But I want us to go toe to toe because we're playing it at the Old Trafford. The crowd would be electric. It would be 70,000 plus. The crowd is.
Remember,
with us.
Mick, we lost out last time. We only conceded one goal until Varane went off injured, and Delo was already on a yellow card, and we didn't have Casemiro.
Yeah.
Now we've got all three. So let's see.
If
Okay,
we
gotta move on, people. We gotta move on. We gotta go to the score prediction.
I need to say this because if we go against City and we play so defensively for us, and quite frankly, the fans won't accept that. The performances that we've had against City, where we've done that, and they've just absolutely tore us apart. It's not been good at Old Trafford. I have to tell you that. And as a United fan, as a Manchester girl, I want to see my team going out. And do you know what? If we get battered 6-3, but we've put in a decent slog, I'm going to be happy with that. I'm not going to be happy with a 6-3 loss when we've just sat back.
Yeah.
I was 6-3 win, Nick.
I just want to say my view on this is that it feels like United are destined to win on Saturday. It feels like a mover. The progression that Ten Hag has shown and the way United have been progressing game by game and getting better and better has been amazing to watch. And
well, you just asked for a defensive lineup.
Pardon?
You just basically asked for a defensive lineup, though. So if we're doing all this, let's go for it.
I never said about a defensive lineup.
No, you didn't.
I said that I would not go all-out attack. I would go toe-to-toe with Manchester City. I wouldn't sit back like David Moyes.
Toe-to-toe is all-out of attack, really, isn't it? Because they go all-out of attack. So if you're going to toe-to-toe, you've got to go all-out of attack.
Listen, I got to go to score prediction. Phil, what's your score prediction?
Do you know what? I have to say, I think it's going to be 2-1 United.
2-1 United. Good one. Niall?
I'm with Phil, mate. I was going to say the same.
2-1 United.
Yeah.
Nicola? Nick?
Yeah.
Me and Phil have agreed so much tonight.
2-1. I'd like it to be 2-0, but, I do think that...
I'd like it to be 3-0, Nick, but...
Well, I'd like it to be 10-0, quite frankly. Back the shit out. We can't have everything we want.
Dan, what's your prediction?
What score did you say?
Right, I would say 6-3, give him a taste of Henderson.
Cool.
I didn't realise Ayush was on the panel.
Yeah, but Ayush is coming here. He's saying
there he is. See?
There he is.
9-0. There he is, Ayush.
I
2
knew
Rashford,
it.
1 Anthony, 3 Bruno.
No,
4
realistically,
Eric
though,
Bailey.
realistically, I am going 3-1 United.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
Well, I'm also going 3-1 United. Yeah, definitely. I want to go and see. I did a poll actually on Twitter to see what United fans on Twitter are saying what the score will be. I'm gonna go to that and see because the poll is kind of ended. The majority actually voted 2-1 United, which is 43%, followed by 2-0 United on 24.7%, 3-1 United, what I went for and you went for, Dan, as well, was 20.4%, and a draw.
So just to confirm, you and Dan went 3-1. Me, Nick, and Phil went 2-1.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to save that receipt for tomorrow. Well, Saturday, sorry.
Yeah. And that was 93 votes, and this is the final result. So what you guys were saying, 2-1 was the winning majority was thinking 2-1. And
I'm still going to put the bet on that you said, though, mate, because you keep winning. So I'm going to put the 3-1 bet on.
Yeah. But anyway, people, thank you so much. We are just looking forward for Saturday. We had some technical issues. We do apologize. Thank you, everyone, for coming on board. You know what I mean? It's for me.
Nick, before we go, sorry, mate. Sorry to disturb you. Before we go, while I was offline, did you go through the comments? Because there's a lot of comments on there, and if people have been through it all already, yeah.
No, let's go for that.
Just
Louis
have a quick. There's quite a lot on there, like.
Yeah, Louis, I think we need to press them hard. The way Liverpool have been beating City over the years isn't sitting deep like most teams versus City, but we pushed them hard. Absolutely, Louis. Sorry, big up for the comments. Mike saying Mbappe all the way. Well, we don't have Mbappe. Louis saying big up. Sorry for not reading the comments. We're having some issues here behind, and I do apologize. Louis again saying Anthony played at left wing in the World Cup, didn't he? I think we should try him. Yeah. There, I feel we didn't have.
He's definitely better suited on his natural foot, in my opinion.
Yeah. Exactly what Mike was saying. Have no fear, no mercy. That's what we're saying. They are coming to our stomping ground. We are making Old Trafford Castle Black, so they better be frightened.
Yeah. Listen, Michael, I'll be in your space in a bit eating up chocolate hobnobs with you, mate. Don't you worry.
Yeah. Lancel Jr. saying, big up, how are you people? Very fine, thank you, Lancel. How are you?
Good evening, Lancel.
Good evening, Lancel. We got to attack them at home. We absolutely agree with you, Lancel. Yeah, we've been talking about that. We got to attack, and there's no way parking the bus or sitting.
And I don't think Ten Hag will let it happen. Yeah. 3-1 United.
3-1 United. And
he's with Mick and Dan. That's 3-all then.
He's in the park with me and Dan. Yo.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you. We do apologize for the technical issues. Please enjoy the derby. I am looking forward for it. It's going to be a cracking game. It's going to be electric. Boys, are you excited? Girls, are you excited?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, come on. Can't wait. Bring it on.
Get in.
I've just realised my kids' drama lessons at the same time United starting, so no, I'm not happy.
You know what?
I just realised my kids' drama lesson is starting the same time United kicks off, so no, I'm not happy. I might have to go in the pub while he's there.
We changed the colours. Manchester will be red. We will be 1 point
always
behind.
red.
Manchester's red. Don't upset Nick before you leave her.
You know.
Manchester is red. We can all agree that.
Yeah.
Thank you, mate. Take care.
Guys.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks,
everyone.
Nick. Thanks, everyone, for coming on board. See you soon. And stay beautiful.
Bye.
Oi. Thank you for watching Mufc Realist TV and this episode. Listen, if you really like what you're seeing, please continue watching other content that we provide, because it's unique content providing by a fan for the fan, allowing you to be real red for real with real opinions, because at the end of the day, we are Mufc Realist TV. Even better, if you want to join our community, make us better, play for the team, hit that join button. Together, we will grow and make it better. Thank you for watching, and by the way, support the team for fuck's sake, because that's what we do here. Cheers!